Archives of Prasar Bharati presents the timeless treasure of golden era.
Highlights of this evening's program: Bhagwan Prasad Saxena and his prickly passion, the coming into fashion of the village that is Hauz Khas, and the cuisine of Karim's, food fit for a king. For some people, it's the thorns that make life interesting. Take, for example, the family of Dr. Bhagwan Prasad Saxena, a lecturer at Deshbandhu College. Their house seems just another of the many anonymous residences in the crowded locality of Ramnagar, near the New Delhi railway station. But seen from a bird's-eye view, it suddenly stands out. Where the majority of roofs in the area are littered with junk, or at best are clean and empty, this house bears on its head an astounding variety of plants of a certain kind, cacti. Most of us will associate this breed of flora with arid wastelands, and few of us would give them a second thought, dismissing them as ugly, thorn-clad plants. But to the eyes of Dr. Saxena, his wife Beena and son Shikhar, this is a gem of beauty, of great diversity, and of considerable versatility. A collection like this, without doubt, is not the fruit of a passing fancy, but the outcome of a magnificent and lifelong obsession.
I started my plant collections in 1958, and I have some plants which are surviving, and they are about 30 to 35 years old plants. I have near about 1,500 varieties with me, and I do not keep the common varieties. I keep the rare varieties, and which are bizarre looking, colored varieties, crustaceans and all that. And I am collecting them from abroad, from growing them from seeds, and from buying from several nurseries in India, and exchanging with other people.
It was evidently a contagious obsession. It quickly spread to his wife Beena, who was quite eager to share with him his first love. Now they tend their nursery together, and there are no botanical secrets between them.
मेरे सामने जिस समय पौधे खरीदे गए थे तो मैं उनके साथ ही थी.
Most of these plants have been bought in front of me. As plants keep coming into the house, I learn their names and details. Dr. Saxena isn't always at home, but visitors keep coming in. It becomes necessary for me to show them around. I thought it best to give Dr. Saxena my support by learning about the plants.
तो मेरे को इसीलिए उनकी नॉलेज पूरी ज़रूरी थी। मैंने यही अच्छा समझा कि मैं ये डॉक्टर सक्सेना का साथ दूं और हर प्लांट के बारे में सीखूं।
Over the years, the collection has grown in volume as well as splendor, with about 1,500 species in cultivation. It can boast of being one of the largest collections in Asia. Some of these plants are survivors from the early days of Dr. Saksena's hobby, creatures that are 25, even 30 years old, and flourishing. The scientific details about the plants have now become child's play for the latest subscriber to the fold. Shekhar, the Saksena's son, a 9th class student.
ये मेरे मम्मी पापा शुरू में ऊपर छत पे आया करते थे, तो कभी कभार मेरे को कहते थे कि पानी दो, तो मैं ज़रा सोचा करता था ये क्या चीज़ें होती हैं। इतने विभिन्न प्रकार की इन चीज़ों को देख देख कर मेरे मन में कई तरह की कोशिशें उठती थी।
My parents used to ask me sometimes to water the plants. I used to wonder about them. Looking at the variety of plants, I would feel very curious. One day I got pricked by some thorns, and that really nettled me. But the next day, when I came up, there was a beautiful flower blooming on that same cactus. This got me very interested in the plants, and that interest has grown continuously. I now know about each plant here and can take care of them all.
अच्छी तरह इन पे इंटरेस्ट है और मैं इनकी अच्छी तरह देखभाल भी करता हूँ। ये क्लिस्टो कैक्टस है, इसकी ये नीचे को जाता है।
This cyclocactus has stems which grow downwards. Hanging in a basket, I think it looks very beautiful. I like this plant very much.
ये मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है।
The acquisition and maintenance of this stupendous collection has been a long and lonely struggle for the Saksenas. They have, on occasion, appealed for official help, but none has been forthcoming. Dr. Saxena has had to carry on his own, with only the support of his kin. Even so, he has received acclaim for his experimental work on breeding hybrid and mutant varieties. At present, space problems prevent him from growing more than one plant of each species.
I live in one of the most polluted environments in the city of Delhi, and I just have a 200 square yard house, and my entire collection is on the terrace. Now I plan to build a house in Noida, which is, I've got a plot where I am going to establish all my mature plants right in the beginning, so that the entire house will be oriented towards the so-called succulent garden. And right now I have a huge collection, perhaps one of the largest collections at this kind of area and such small space. But when I get more space, I will be able to establish them.
This is one dream he has. If he does manage to move to some place with more room, he plans to go into this commercially, cultivating plants for sale. If that happens, his contagious obsession could catch on. That could prove a point in favor of the prickly cactus. It began as fairy tales do. Once upon a time, a production unit for a boutique was the first to come to the Horsecast village. That was in November 1987. 2.5 years later, the transformation is, if anything, far more incredible than a fairy tale. Hidden, remote corners, sometimes even the main street, give an idea of what the village was a little over 2 years ago. Just another of those rustic holdouts besieged by the city which had developed around it. Such sieges rarely last long. The arm of the city is long and usually carries a lot of money. For, making no bones about it, that is what has made the difference. All the changes that have taken place, that have metamorphosed Horskhas from a sleepy little village to a buzzing beehive of activity. Why it has worked is that in the bargain, nobody has lost. Except maybe tradition. And who cares for that?
ऐसा है कि करीब 2 साल पहले ये लोग हमारे गांव में आना शुरू हुए थे। तो पहले तो एक दो ने अपना वर्कशॉप शुरू किया था, फिर धीरे-धीरे इन लोगों का स्ट्रेंथ ज़्यादा होता रहा। तो किराया भी पहले ऐसा था, लोगों को पता नहीं था भी ये कमर्शियल हो जाएगा ऐसे।
These people started moving in here about 2 years ago. At first, there was one workshop here, and then their strength kept increasing. No one realized that it would get so commercialized. So rents were quite low at first. Now the whole village has been taken over, and it's difficult for us to stay here. With the government providing roads and other services, it's going to get worse. Even the lake at the back is being developed. So it looks like this is here to stay. During the day, it becomes very difficult for us. We can't hold any functions or move around in the village streets. The ladies of the village are used to veiling their faces and are unused to visitors. It's only after 6 in the evening, when the shops close, that we can breathe a little freely.
तो इसलिए सारा दिन घर में ही बंदे रहते हैं हम तो। अब शाम को 6 बजे के बाद ये बंद होते हैं, तब थोड़ा सांस आता है हमें।
The variety of establishments in the village is not very large. It's just that the ingenuity and artistic versatility of the shop owners has succeeded in giving most of the places a look of uniqueness. Broadly speaking, though, there is basically a large range of clothes shops, most of them designer, ethnic and expensive, and a smattering of outlets selling handicrafts, arts and curios. There are a few actual standouts. The village gallery is a stark and reasonably unaffected art gallery. The exodus into the Horskhas village continues. Like hounds on the scent of an easy kill, would-be entrepreneurs continue to pour in. The streets are littered with construction material, and the racket of buildings coming up dominates.
हाँ, कंस्ट्रक्शन तो अभी भी चल रहा है। जो लोगों के पास खाली जमीन थी, उस पे ये बना के शोरूम्स वगैरह दे रहे हैं लोगों।
Construction is still going on. These people who had land lying empty are building showrooms. Money is coming in. True, there have been benefits, but not all that much. Most people had already rented out their property. How much could they get from what little was left? The extent to which the villagers may seem to have prospered is quite exaggerated. Of course, the place has brightened up and is looking nice. Beyond the village and the protected deer park too, work is afoot. The DDA is constructing a large artificial lake to transform the area gradually into a regular tourist resort. On the banks of this forlorn stands the madrasa of Feroz Shah Tughlaq, built in the 14th century. It is the last bastion of a tradition smothered under by the rising waters of commercialism. This has been designated a protected monument, thankfully. Otherwise, this would probably also, by now, have been converted to an ethnic designer boutique. If only you could smell what's on the screen, you'd like this program a lot more. The aroma in this place is truly heavenly. This is Karim's, a name which makes most stomachs sit up and take notice, which has had the ability to do this for more than 3/4 of a century now. The Karim saga began in 1913, when the Haji Karimuddin opened a small Neamat Kara, meaning eating place, near the Jama Masjid. The Haji's ancestors had been employed traditionally in the kitchens of the Mughal emperors, and he knew how to cook up meals fit for monarchs. With no monarchs, however, left in the land, he decided to make good of his talent in a different way. Suddenly, the food of kings was accessible to commoners, and the commoners loved it. The reputation of Karim's cooking grew. Along with it, grew the ranks of the customers, prompting the management to begin a visitor's book. This now sports distinguished names from every profession. Haji Karimuddin's oldest living descendant, his son Haji Nuruddin, can recall serving diverse people.
बहुत से लोगों ने यहाँ खाना खाया जिसके अंदर बहुत से ये हसन निज़ामी थे और मिर्ज़ा खैरुद्दीन थे, फैजाजुद्दीन थे यहाँ के सदर शहजादान के.
Many famous people of my time ate here, and I was acquainted with many of them. Our family used to work in the kitchens of the emperors. This work has been our family tradition. For this hotel, we all put in our bit. My father started it, I did what I could, and then taught the children the trade. Our methods are quite different from those of others. In my days, prices used to be much lower. Meat would cost maybe 4 annas for a kilo, and venison at most 8 annas a kilo.
उनसे लिया करते थे हम तो 4 आने किलो गोश्त और हिरन का गोश्त 8 आने किलो है.
Emma Hussain, dining at Karim's, made a sketch in appreciation of his meal. This sketch has now become part of the Karim's logo. It is difficult to figure out what exactly the Karim's secret is. The family, 4 generations of which are now active in running the restaurants and hotels, are naturally quite vague about it. Whatever it is, the food here is still fit for royalty. And despite inflation, the prices are still such that Karim's remains accessible to the commoner, and the commoner still loves it. Next week, find out what the modern mud house is all about. Visit some places where rents are virtually non-existent, and finally, browse through a bazaar where anything goes for a price.